The signal from the frozen colony echoed through space like a final scream. It was old technology, weak and cracked with age, but it traveled far, far enough to reach places most had forgotten. In the cold darkness of deep space, something moved. A ship no one saw it entered the system. No sensors caught it. It didn't come through the official space lanes or gates. It simply arrived. One moment there was empty space, and the next a massive black ship drifted into orbit above the dead planet. There were no flags on it, no lights, no signal codes. The surface was dark metal, marked only by one burning symbol, a red skull wrapped in flame, painted across its hull like a warning. The Galactic Council received the first report within an hour. It appeared above. Sector 7K. Unknown class. No ID code. Stealth tech too advanced to trace. It's not one of ours. The council chamber fell silent. Dozens of alien races sat frozen, their eyes fixed on the hologram of the black ship. Do we know who it belongs to? One counselor asked in a whisper. The reply came slowly. We believe. It is human. Another silence followed longer. Heavier? That's impossible, someone said. Humanity is gone, said another. They were wiped out during the collapse wars. Their system sealed itself off. No one has seen them in centuries. The room filled with quiet panic. Memories of the past crept into every mind. Long ago, when the Federation was still growing, humans had been their allies. Brave, strong, clever, and dangerous. Too dangerous it had taken many small betrayals. Promises broken, fleets abandoned. Slowly the humans were pushed out. Left to defend themselves, left to die. Now a human ship floated above the ruins of a colony, and no one knew why. They could be scavengers, one officer said, or survivors. They could be ghosts, whispered another. The angry ones? The ones we turned away? The names spread through the networks like a shadow. Angry ones. It was an old name, almost a myth. Stories passed down in secret about a lost human fleet that had vanished into the deep void, promising to return one day. Now they were here. Back on the planet, the black ship hovered silently. It didn't scan, it didn't speak, and it didn't leave either. Its presence was a message. Inside the ship there was no panic, no confusion. The crew moved with quiet precision. They were soldiers, not in uniform, but in body and mind. Each had deep scars, metal limbs, and cold eyes. In the med bay, a young alien girl named Rena lay asleep. She was thin, her skin pale. From cold and hunger, machines monitored her pulse and temperature. She had been taken from the ruins of her home by the humans, not as a prisoner, not as a threat, but as a rescue. One of the human officers stood beside her. He was tall, with gray in his beard and steel plates on his arms. His name was Captain Drax. She's stable, the medic said quietly. She'll live. Drax nodded. He didn't. Smile? He hadn't smiled in years. Do we know who she is? He asked. The medic handed him a data chip, Rena Sol, last registered survivor of Colony I-9. Her people were part of the Treaty Worlds. They were supposed to be protected. Drax didn't say anything for a long time. He stared at the girl, then turned away. Wake the bridge crew, he said. I want full scans. I want to know what happened down there. Command crew gathered. The room was dark, lit only by red lights and glowing monitors. Old war medals and human flags lined the walls, each with burn marks and holes. This was no accident, said Lieutenant Voss, pulling up holographic images. That colony was attacked. Precision strikes, surgical weapons.
Ow.
Someone didn't. Just hit them. They erased them. Who? X asked. Unknown, Voss said. But there's Federation tech signatures all over the blast zones. Always clean up after themselves, growled a voice from the corner. It was Sergeant Mara, a woman with a robotic spine and one glowing eye, unless they want someone to see. They didn't expect us, Drax said. No, Mara replied. They thought we were still hiding in the void, thought we'd never come back. Well, we're here now, Drax said. And we're watching. The ship's AI chimed in, its voice calm and sharp. Captain, long-range scans detect Federation satellites going active. They've noticed us. Let them. Drax said. It's time they remember who we are. On the other side of the galaxy, Federation command was in chaos. Ships were being mobilized. Secret files reopened. They knew the ship. The design matched no modern blueprint, but the power signature was clear. It was Terran. A meeting was called. High level, hidden. Panic sat behind every word. They must have heard the distress call, said the defense chief. That colony was marked abandoned. Another shouted. It wasn't abandoned. It was silenced. The truth began to break through. The girl, Rena, was special. Her DNA held a Keon-old experiment the Federation once funded, then buried. Her people had been test subjects. When the results failed, they erased them. But one survived, and now. The humans had her, they'll come after us, said the council head. Maybe we can reason with them. Reason? A young commander laughed bitterly. With the angry ones, they don't speak. They strike. The debate raged, but none of it mattered. The humans were already preparing. Back on the black ship, Drax stood at the observation deck, watching the stars. We don't need to fight, Boss said quietly beside him. No, Drax replied. But if they come after her again, we won't run. Behind them, a quiet voice spoke. It was Rena. She had woken up. Who are you people? She asked. Drax looked at her. His voice was steady. We're the ones they left behind too. She didn't understand. Not yet. But she nodded. Outside, the ship began to move. Slow. Silent. A shadow in the stars. Across the galaxy. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Sensors tracked its path. Panic rose again. It had no flag, no signal, no name. But it carried something far more dangerous than weapons. It carried a memory and memories. Don't forget. Rena was given warm food. Not much, but enough. She ate slowly, her hands shaking. A human soldier stood nearby, watching silently, not out of fear, but protection. She could feel it. These people were not soft, not friendly in the normal way. But they had saved her. The room was quiet except for the hum of the ship. Lights were dim. The walls were heavy metal, old and strong. Nothing inside the ship looked fancy. It all looked built for war. Captain Drax entered again, walked. Slowly, heavy boots echoing on the floor. He didn't carry a weapon. He didn't need one. You're safe now, he said to her. Rena looked up. Why did you come? Drax sat across from her. His face was full of years and battles. His eyes were tired but focused. We heard the signal, he answered. No one else came. She looked down. They never come. He nodded. We know. She looked at him again. Are you human? He smiled faintly. Just for a second. Some still call us that. Others call you angry. He didn't deny it. Anger keeps you warm when the galaxy turns its back on you. She blinked. Are you going to fight them? Not yet, Drax said. But we are watching and waiting. Rena wanted to ask more, but she was tired. Her body was still healing. Drax stood up and gave her a soft blanket. Rest, he said. You'll need your strength. As he left the room, Rena stared at the strange symbol painted on the ship walls. The red skull burning with fire. The humans didn't explain it. They didn't need to. Elsewhere, the Federation made its first move. A scout ship was sent to the edge of the system. It didn't approach too close. Its orders were simple. Observe, gather data, and leave quickly. The scout ship's captain, a thin blue-skinned alien named Coral, watched the black ship through long-range scans. No movement, his officer said. But we can't get close. Our stealth systems are being jammed. Jammed. Coral frowned. That ship doesn't even have active comms, I know, sir. It's just knowing where we are. Coral didn't like it. He had heard the stories even though he pretended not to believe them. The humans were supposed to be extinct. The Federation hadn't killed them directly. They had just let nature, time and enemies finished the job. Quiet war. Quiet betrayal. But if even one human ship had survived— "Get us out of here," Coral ordered. As his ship turned, he saw something on the black ship's surface. It was hard to tell from this distance, but it looked like a new mark, like a tally. One glowing red line. Freshly added. Back aboard the Ravager's Mercy, the crew reviewed old data. Drax sat with Voss and Mara in the command room. "She's not just any survivor," Voss said. "That girl Rena, her genetic code is modified. Deep coding. Federation. Science. They experimented on her people," Drax asked. "Worse," Mara growled. "They tried to build something. A key, maybe for war, maybe for control. When it failed, they wiped the test site." "So she was meant to disappear," Drax said slowly. "Exactly. But she didn't. And now she's with us," Mara said with a grin. "Bad luck for them." Leaned forward. "Send a message." "No words, just the mark." "You sure?" Voss asked. "That will start rumors. Fear." "I want fear," Drax said. "They left her to die. Let them feel what she felt." Within minutes, across space, a simple message appeared on darknets, black channels, and hidden feeds. A red skull, one mark beneath it. No sound. No explanation. But the galaxy recognized the warning. Back on the bridge, Rena was allowed to sit with the crew. She watched as stars passed by. She didn't understand the systems or weapons, but she saw how the humans moved. Calm, cold, sharp. These were not ordinary soldiers. They were something else. "What is this ship?" she asked a nearby crewman. He glanced at her. "This is a ghost, a shadow. We don't exist on any maps." "Then where are you from?" "Nowhere." Returned to his console, and Rena kept thinking. The Federation had ignored her cries. The other species had turned away, but these silent warriors, they came. The next day, Drax received a coded signal. Federation Fleet Command. They wanted to talk in the war room. The message played. A holla of a well-dressed alien general appeared. "Captain Drax, or should I say, Commander of the Lost?" Drax didn't answer. "We detected your presence near the I-9 colony. That world is under Federation protection." Drax let the silence hang. "We are willing to negotiate," the alien continued. "We can offer you territory, resources, peace. But we ask you to hand over the girl." Voss almost jumped out of his seat. "They want her," Mara growled. "No shame." Drax stepped forward. He spoke calmly. "She stays with us. It would be unwise." Drax leaned closer. "You think we came back for war? You're wrong. We came back for justice. You left her to die. You killed her world. We saw it." The alien general frowned. "We didn't order that attack. Some local forces may have. You always hide behind others," Drax snapped. "But you forget we don't forget." The message ended. Mara looked at Drax. "You just made us a target." "They made themselves one the day they lit that colony on fire," Drax replied. A quiet voice spoke from behind. "I don't want peace with them," Rena said. "I want them to feel what I felt."
Ow.
Everyone turned to look at her. Her small hands were clenched, her eyes hard. Drax nodded. "Then stay with us. We never run." Outside, the Ravager's Mercy turned its engines toward the next system. It didn't run. It didn't hide. It moved with purpose. The galaxy watched. One black ship. One burning symbol. And a girl who had been abandoned by everyone. Everyone. Except the angry humans. The Ravager's Mercy was no longer hiding. Its engines lit the void behind it as it entered the end. Kevel. System once a busy trade route, now a forgotten stretch of space. The ship wasn't chasing anything. It was following data, traces, signs. Of who attacked Colony I-9, Rena sat quietly in the war room beside Captain Drax. She watched as old maps and records were pulled up. Her world, her home, had been erased from official Federation records. No population counts, no alerts, nothing. Like it never existed. "We found the path the attackers used," Lieutenant Voss said. Came through here, Kevel. It was once a mining zone, but now it's used by mercs. Unmarked ships, privators, cowards, Mara spat. They always hide behind shadows. Drax stared at the map. Good, then we'll drag them into the light. The crew moved fast. Orders passed quietly without shouting. These humans didn't waste time or words. They worked like machines with hearts still beating. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, Federation Command was growing nervous. They're moving again, one admiral said. They ignored our warning. They don't care about our rules. Another snapped. They never did. Need to stop them before the whole galaxy starts watching. But how? Asked the third. That ship has tech we can't trace. Shields we can't break. They're one ship, the admiral said. We have hundreds. Another general looked uneasy. Yes, but they only need one shot. At that same moment, the Ravagers. Mercy arrived near an abandoned mining station. It floated above a cracked asteroid, surrounded by scrap and wrecks. No lights. No power. But the humans knew better. They're here, Mara whispered. Drax nodded. Send the message. Rena watched as the red skull symbol was sent into the void. 1 minute passed. 2. Then the station came alive. Defense turrets spun. Shields activated. Ships launched small, fast, armed. They were mercenaries, bought hands. But they were ready to kill. Humans, a voice crackled over the comms. This isn't your war. Turn back. Leave the girl. No more warnings. Drax leaned forward and pressed the mic. You started this when you killed innocent lives. We're not here to negotiate. The voice laughed. You think one old warship can stop us? Drax said only one word. Watch. The Ravager's Mercy charged its weapons. Fancy laser beams. Old rail cannons. Pure kinetic hell. The first mercenary ship was torn in half by a single round. No energy, just mass, speed, and fury. The second exploded seconds later. The station tried to fire back, but the ship was already gone from sight, cloaked again. Silent. Then the gravity bombs dropped. The station twisted, metal bending like paper. Screams filled the channels, but the humans didn't reply. They were not there to talk. They were there to end it. Rena watched from the observation deck. She didn't cheer. She didn't smile. She just whispered, they remembered us. When the battle was over, the Ravager's Mercy docked with the burning station. Drax, Mara, and a small squad entered. Inside, they found one of the mercenary captains crawling, blood on his face. You're not supposed to be real, he coughed. You're ghosts. Mara stepped on his hand. Then fear the dead. Drax. Crouch down? Who paid you? The man coughed again. Federation intelligence. Black budget. They said the girl was a threat. Some kind of weapon. Drax's eyes went cold. We're all weapons, he said. But she's not the one you should fear. Back on the ship, Rena sat alone. She held a datapad with old photos of her home. Burned. Gone. But not forgotten. She knew now. The Federation feared her because of what was in her blood. But they feared the humans because of what was in their hearts. Unforgiving memory. Unbroken. Raged in the promise they made long ago. We never abandon our own. She looked out the window, saw the stars, and whispered again. They're coming for all of you. The Ravager's Mercy moved through deep space. Silent, but not hidden. They didn't need to hide anymore. The Federation had tried to erase the truth. They killed colonies, burned records, and paid mercenaries to clean up their mess. But now, the truth was flying through the stars on a black ship with red eyes and sharper teeth, and someone was watching. High above the Galaron belt, another fleet waited. Not Federation, not pirates. Something in between. The Crimson Pact. They weren't a real government. It's just a group of ex-military warlords and hunters. They took what they wanted and sold what others feared. Right now they had just been PED contract. From someone deep inside Federation High Command. Target, Ravager's Mercy. Objective, destroy the ship. Recover the girl. No survivors. On their bridge, Commander Velen of the Pact smiled as he read the details. So, the angry humans are back, he said. Good. I've always wanted to test their pain. The second-in-command looked nervous. Sir, that ship destroyed a full station. Their weapons, they're outdated, Velen cut in. A relic from the old wars. We've upgraded. Since then, let them come. They'll burn. Meanwhile, aboard the Ravager's Mercy, Drax stood over the central war table. A map flickered above its real-time positions, signals, encoded chatter. Voss looked up. They know we're coming. Good, Drax said. Rena entered the room slowly. Her expression was calm, but her eyes were different now. She was no longer just the survivor. She had begun to carry the same weight as the humans. A quiet fire. What did they say? She asked. Mara turned toward her. They put a price on your head. Let them try, Rena whispered. They left me to die. They don't get to bury me again. Drax looked at her and nodded once. You stay on the bridge this time. You'll see what happens when ghosts go hunting. As the ship reached the Galaron belt, thick clouds of rock and dust surrounded them. Visibility was low, but the Ravager's crew didn't need eyes. They had instincts. An old human tech that still worked better than most believed. Multiple contacts, Boss said. 15 ships. Heavily armed, power levels rising. Mara grinned. They brought a party, and we crash it. Drax said, comes lit up. This is Commander Velen, a voice said coldly. You're outnumbered, outgunned, and outdated. Drop the girl and power down. Drax stepped forward. You first. There was silence. Then the first shot was fired. The Crimson Pact launched missile barrages. Plasma cannons lit up the dark belt. Explosions shook the asteroids. Debris flew like deadly snow. But the Ravager's Mercy danced through it. Old engines, sharp turns. Brutal punches, every shot from the humans landed with purpose. No wildfire, no panic, just cold skill. The first Pact ship went dark, then another, and another. But the enemy kept coming. One Pact ship broke through the field and charged directly at the Ravager brace. Voss shouted, but Drax didn't flinch. He pressed one button on the console. A hidden railgun turret snapped up from the hull, rotating fast, then fired. One shot. Straight through the charging ship's core. It split in two. Even Rena, standing on the bridge, gasped. They don't even hesitate, she whispered. Drax looked at her. We don't play war, we end it. The last few Pact ships tried to run, but running from death is hard when it's flying faster than light. The Ravagers. Mercy chased the last one across. The field, Velen's ship, fire back, hit them, he shouted, panic in his voice. But his crew had already given up. They had seen something they never believed. Humans who didn't stop, didn't break, didn't feel fear. They were done. Drax's voice came over Velen's cums. You sold lives for credits. You took orders to kill a child. Velen screamed. She's not a child. She's a weapon, you were told. You were told lies, Drax said coldly. And now you'll pay the price for believing them. The Ravager's Mercy fired one last shot. The Crimson Pact was gone. Back on the bridge, silence fell. Smoke drifted through the air. Sparks danced across broken panels, but the ship was alive. And so was the girl. Rena looked down at her hands. She had been scared, lost, alone now. She had watched death fall from the sky, but this time it wasn't hers. Why do you keep fighting? She asked Drax. He stared out the window, 'cause no one else will. She stepped beside him. Then, I'll fight too. Drax turned and looked at her. She wasn't a victim anymore. She had made her choice. Then welcome to the crew, he said quietly, somewhere far away. Federation Command received a final report from their spies. Crimson Pact, destroyed. Ravager's Mercy, still operational. Girl, alive, a note was added. To the file, we thought we buried the angry humans. We were wrong. Word of the Crimson Pact's destruction spread fast, across spaceports. Black markets, pirate stations, and forgotten colonies. The same message repeated. They're back. No one had to ask who they were. Everyone knew. The so-called angry humans had returned, and this time they weren't hiding. Inside Federation High Command, panic was growing. Admiral Soro paced across the war room floor, his long coat dragging behind him. Screens showed destruction reports. Ship losses. Missing agents. A name kept blinking on the screen. Ravager's Mercy. Soro turned to his council. We tried to wipe them out years ago. Clearly we failed. Another general said, we didn't take the old ship seriously. Fleets are vanishing. They aren't attacking planets, someone else said. They're striking only those involved with the I-9 colony purge. Soro's voice turned cold. The girl Rina is the key. We must remove her, or they'll burn their way to our doorstep. Silence filled the room. Then came a new plan. Not with ships or fleets, but with words. Federation Media Control began their campaign that same day. All across public channels, news stories flooded the systems. Terror ship destroys peace fleet. Federation offers safety from human war criminals. Girl used by pirates to spread fear. The story was twisted, turned, and broadcast across thousands of worlds. Back aboard the Ravager's Mercy. The crew watched in silence as the lies played across the screen. Mara smashed a screen with her fist. They call us the criminals. Always do, Voss muttered. Truth is just a tool to them. Rena stared, heart pounding. Her face was on every screen. They called her a hostage, a biological threat, and worse. She shook with anger. They don't care what's true, she whispered. No, Drax said quietly. They care what people believe. He turned off the screen. But we don't fight for crowds. We fight for the dead. Just then a soft alert beeped. Mara checked it. Incoming transmission. But it's not Federation. Source, Drax asked. It's from a private relay encrypted and old. The crew stared at each other. Only a few people still used those codes. Drax gave a single nod. Play it. Voice came through, rough, deep, and slow. Commander Drax, this is Kellen from the Outer Reach. You probably thought I was dead. So did I. But I've got something. Something they tried to bury. There was a pause, then static returned. Attached to the message, coordinates. In an old file labeled Project Dawnlight. Wass's eyes widened. That's the code name from the I-9 research logs. Drax nodded. Set course. As the ship turned toward the dead edge of space, Rena stood still, her mind racing. What's Project Dawnlight? She asked. Drax looked at her. The reason they want you gone? The Ravager's Mercy arrived 3 days later. There was nothing in the system. No stations, no beacons, just black space and one broken moon. They approached carefully inside. The remains of an asteroid bunker. They found a tan old lab, Federation style, long abandoned. But sealed. The team suited up and entered. Dust filled the air. Frozen consoles, blood on the walls. Mara read a scratched message near the door. They said it would save us. They lied. Inside. They found cryopods, broken, empty, except one. Inside it was a man, old, thin, scarred, but alive. They pulled him out. When his eyes opened, he whispered one word, Rena. She froze. You know me? I made you, he said. Silence hit the room like a hammer. He coughed, then continued. They took our research, twisted it, tried to create something, not just human, not just alien. You were the only one who survived. Survived what? Rena asked, voice shaking. The Dawnlight Protocol.
Oh.
They weren't making weapons. They were making replacements, new beings, obedient, strong, and controlled. Why me? She asked. Because you were different. You didn't break. You didn't forget who you were. Tears filled her eyes, and they left me behind. No, the man said. You escaped. That wasn't a mistake. That was a miracle. Back on the ship, the crew reviewed the data. Old test logs, human DNA, alien code, bioengineered intelligence. Rena had not just survived the experiments, She had beaten them, now. She wasn't just a symbol. She was a secret the Federation couldn't afford to let live. Drax stared at the screen. They wanted to play God. They left their mistakes behind. He looked at his crew. Let's show them what happens. When mistakes grow teeth, the Ravager's Mercy flew through deep space faster than light, but heavy with silence. The truth had been found. Project Dawnlight wasn't just a dark secret. It was a crime hidden behind lies and burning cities. Rena wasn't just a survivor, she was proof that the Federation had tried to build a new kind of life. And when it didn't work the way they wanted, they destroyed it. And now, the Federation knew she was still alive. They'll throw everything at us, Voss said, reading the signals. Whole fleets, Black Ops teams, propaganda waves, maybe even assassins. Let them come, Drax said coldly. They built monsters. We kill monsters. Mara looked at Rena, who stood near the main viewport, quiet and still. You okay? She asked gently. Rena didn't answer at first. Her eyes watched the stars, but her thoughts were far away. I was supposed to be someone else, she said. They wanted to rewrite me, make me loyal, obedient, empty. She turned to face Mira, her eyes burning now, but I'm still me. Mira gave a small nod. That's what scares them. As the ship reached Sector 94, a warning flashed across the screen. Blockade detected. Federation strike. Dozens of ships. Battleships, carriers, drones. Waiting ready, Voss looked back at Drax. We go around? No, Drax said. We go through. The crew didn't question it. They never did. Inside Federation flagship Pride of Order, Admiral Soro stood tall watching the sensors. He had set the trap himself. He even smiled. They took the bait. Power up weapons. Keep her alive, kill the rest. Down below, in stealth pods hidden among the fleet, elite assassins waited, each one enhanced. Each one trained for one mission. Capture subject Rena. Eliminate all humans. The moment the Ravager's Mercy dropped from FTL, alarms exploded. Target locked. Energy spike sits charging weapons. No broadcast. No surrender code. There. Coming in hot. And then it began. The first wave of drones flew in, sleek and silent. The Ravager's Mercy fired backmass driver rounds, tore through the swarm like shrapnel through smoke. Explosions lit the dark, then the real ships moved. And Federation carriers launched interceptors. Plasma torpedoes streaked forward, but the humans didn't run. They dove in closer. Drax gave the order. Activate Phantom Protocol. The ship shimmered. Cloaking tech activated. Lights dimmed. Suddenly it was gone. Confusion spread. Where'd it go? I lost them Sector 9. No Sector 4. But by then it was too late. The Ravager's Mercy reappeared right behind the Pride of Order, within its blind spot, and fired all railguns at once. The Federation flagship shook violently. Explosions tore across its left flank. Inside the Ravagers, Mercy Mira laughed. You wanted a war, now eat it? Suddenly alarms blared on the bridge. Intruders. Voss shouted. Stealth pods boarding attempt. Rena drew a blaster and turned. Drax tossed her a second weapon. Stay behind me. No, Rena said. I fight now. The hallways of the ship lit up with red lights. The assassins were fast-moving through vents, slicing through doors, but they made a mistake. They thought this ship was just steel. They didn't realize it was alive with rage. Mara met the first assassin, hand-to-hand fists, blades, blood. She didn't blink. She didn't stop. Voss and his team covered the engine room, shooting through tight corners. Drax fought in the hangar, using old weapons that hit harder than modern tech. And Rena faced her own assassin alone. He stepped forward, taller, heavier, enhanced with cybernetic muscles. You were never meant to survive, he growled. She didn't flinch. Then I guess I'm already a problem, he charged. She rolled aside, fired twice. The shots hit. He stumbled. But he wasn't down. He grabbed her by the throat, lifted her. You're just a failed project. She struggled, then gasped. Then, why are you afraid of me? She slammed a knife into his side. Then again, he dropped her. She fired point blank into his head. Silence when it was over. The crew gathered on the bridge, bruised, bloodied, but standing. The Federation fleet outside was broken. The pride of order was retreating. What remained was scattered, confused, and afraid. "They'll come again," Voss said. Drax nodded, "and we'll be waiting." Rena walked forward. Her hands were steady now, her eyes sharp. "I'm done running," she said. The crew looked at her not as a passenger but as one of their own. "You're one of us now," Mara said. "No," Rena replied. "I'm not one of you. I'm the reason they're afraid of all of you." Far away in the core worlds of the Federation, fear was spreading. The angry humans had become more than a myth now, more than ghosts. They were real, were deadly, and worst of all, they were winning. Admiral Soro stood in the main command chamber, face pale, hands shaking. His fleet had failed. The blockade was destroyed. Elite assassins gone. Flagships dash damaged. And the girl, still alive, but worse. She was no longer hiding. Across dozens of systems, a strange signal had started spreading. A simple message sent on old human military frequencies. No encryption, just one clear line. "You left her behind. We didn't." In mining colonies, in slave camps, in forgotten space, survivors began to hear it, and many of them remembered. They remembered Earth's ships, the ones that came when no one else did, the ones that fought with fire, but protected like steel now. Something was changing. Old resistance cells lit up. Hidden bunkers powered on. Lost weapons caches were uncovered. People who had been silent for years now whispered the same word again. Humans on the Ravagers. Mercy. The crew watched the growing signals. Mira leaned over the console. "This is spreading fast. They're not just scared of us now," Voss said. "They're scared of what we might wake up." Drax stood quietly, watching the screen. He didn't speak often, but when he did, every word mattered. "Fear spreads," he said, "but so does hope." Then came a message they didn't expect. A ship's maul, damaged, limping through space, sent a direct call. "This is the Aurora Star. We were attacked. Federation flagged us as traitors. We have survivors. And children." The voice paused, then added, "We heard the rumors about a human ship, about fire and fury. If you're out there, please, we need help." Drax looked at Rena. She didn't hesitate. "Answer it," she said. They found the Aurora Star in the orbit of a dead planet. The ship had taken heavy damage. Fires still burned inside. Its engines barely worked. But inside, dozens of refugees, families, wounded soldiers, scared civilians. The moment the Ravagers' mercy arrived, the refugees expected another Federation trick. Then they saw the ship's hull. Black metal, old scars, a red symbol glowing faintly beneath the plating, an old Earth War emblem, and they knew they were safe. Mara and Voss led the rescue crew. Food, medpacks, security teams. Rena stood near the boarding ramp as the survivors were brought aboard. A little girl stared up at her. "You're her, aren't you?" The girl whispered. "The girl from the screens." Rena knelt. "What did they say about me?" The girl frowned. "You were dangerous, but you don't look dangerous." Rena smiled softly. "Good. That means I still have a chance to choose who I want to be." Drax watched from above. He saw the way Rena spoke to the people, the way they looked at her, like a light in the dark. "She's becoming more than a weapon," he said. "She's becoming a symbol." But symbols are dangerous, especially to tyrants. Inside Federation High Command, Zara received the latest report. Multiple worlds are going silent. Colonies refusing orders. Riots. Some are flying Earth symbols. He crushed the report in his hand. "Enough. No more games. Send the Eclipse Protocol." "But sir," the officer said, "pale that weapon." I said, "Send it." The Eclipse Protocol was a weapon from Earth's darkest days. A virus not biological, but digital. It's designed to cripple systems, confuse fleets, and destroy entire ship networks without firing a single shot. It had been outlawed, But the Federation had stolen parts of it long ago. Now they planned to turn Earth's own nightmare against them. On the Ravager's mercy, alarms began flashing without warning. "Something's wrong," Boss yelled. "Main systems are glitching, sensors going blind, AI freezing." Then the ship powered down, darkness, silence, dot only. The emergency lights glowed red. "We're under digital attack," Mara growled. Rena stood up slowly. "Can they control the ship?" "No," Drax said. "But they can blind us, make us vulnerable." Then across the emergency screen a message appeared. 3 words. "You should have stayed dead." Suddenly enemy ships decloaked all around them. Not Federation Navy this time, but black ships. Silent killers. Death squads from the inner core. They didn't want to arrest. They came to erase. Voss cursed. "We can't fire. We're sitting ducks." Rena stared at the screen. Her mind was racing. Then, without warning, she ran toward the old backup systems. "Where is she going?" Mara shouted. "To finish what they started." Drax Sedan followed. The Ravager's mercy floated in dead space. Systems offline. Fixed engines silent. Lights flickering. Surrounded by black Federation ships, they came without warning. No names, no hails. Just cold death. Inside the bridge, Voss worked furiously. "There. Virus has infected every system. Main AI is locked. Weapons frozen. Jump drive is blocked." "We've got 20 enemy ships," Mara said, "and we're blind. They'll board soon," Voss added. "We won't survive a second wave." Drax didn't panic. He turned toward the hallway where Rena had run. "She's our last card," he said. "Let's make sure she gets the time she needs." Rena sprinted through the dark corridors, her feet pounding against the floor. She wasn't running away. She was running toward the core, toward the old brain of the Shipperth tech, buried deep and forgotten. It wasn't connected to modern systems, which meant the virus couldn't touch it. The place was cold, dusty, lights barely worked, but the core still lived. She stepped up to the ancient console, hands shaking, memories flashing through her mind. The lab, the fire, the screaming. They had made her to be silent. But now she was going to speak. She slammed her hand onto the biometric pad. It beeped, then scanned. Human genetic signature detected. System override unlocked. "Run manual protocol. Dawnlight," she whispered. "Warning. This action will break all known treaties." "Don't care," she said. "Wake up." The old war code lit up. Lights flared. Deep engines. HUMMED. And then the ship roared to life. Up on the bridge, screens flashed back on. "Systems online," Voss yelled. "Missiles armed. Weapons charging." Rena's voice echoed across the speakers. "I took back what they stole. This ship belongs to us." Now, the Ravager's mercy surged forward like a beast set free. Enemy ships opened fire, but the mercy danced between the blasts. Answering with Earth-made railguns and missile storms, Drax gave the command. Crush them. Explosions tore through the stars. Federation killships tried to flee, but they were outgunned, outmatched and outflown. Mara spun the ship through fire and wreckage like it was a fighter, not a war cruiser. One by one, the black ships fell. And when the last one exploded in silent flame, the crew exhaled together victory again. But it wasn't over yet, because now the whole galaxy knew the truth. The angry humans weren't gone. They weren't hiding. They were angry for a reason. Across dozens of systems, rebellions began to rise. Civilians tore down Federation banners. Old Earth flags went up again. The Ravager's mercy became more than a ship. It became a symbol of resistance, of rage, of hope, and at the center of it all, Rena, no longer a lost girl, no longer a weapon now. A leader. Drax stood with her as they watched the shipyards of a new allied fleet rise. "Are you ready for what comes next?" he asked. Rena nodded. "They abandoned me. But now, we fight for everyone they left behind. And if they come again?" Mara asked. Rena smiled. "Let them."